Hi guys, today I'll be reviewing some new and interesting perfume releases by Carner Barcelona, Theodoros Kalotinis, and Zara. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please do keep watching. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, then please do keep watching and maybe consider subscribing. First perfume that I'm going to talk about is the newest release of Carner Barcelona, and this is called Helix. I first tried this perfume in Essence, and to be honest with you, when I was in Essence, I really thought that this was masculine leaning fragrance. Let me read you the notes. On top, bergamot, clary sage, peach. In the mid, marine accord, orange flower, lily of the valley. In the base, there's cedarwood, vetiver, and musk. I've only tried it on paper when I was in Essence, and on paper, I found it very aromatic and marine. However, when I received a bottle of this from the brand, because by the way, Helix is gifted to me by Carner Barcelona, my thought has changed, especially when I let my husband wear Helix the other day. This opens up very aquatic, but at the same time, very aromatic. And what I mean by aromatic is that clary sage note is very prominent to my nose. As it dries down, it becomes fruitier. So, having said that, basically, I don't find it very masculine leaning at all. This to me smells very fruity, floral, and musky scent with the aquatic or like the marine notes floating in the background. On my husband, it smells like floral, musky, aquatic, and slightly fruity. And then on me, it smells like candied fruits with some aromatic and woody background. It just blew my mind how a fragrance can smell different on people, because I think I prefer Helix on my husband than on me personally, because if you watch my channel, you know that I'm not really into candied fruits kind of fragrances, and this just pulls very fruity on me. This on him smells like gentle sea breeze with some fresh musk, white flowers, and little bit of woody notes. So basically, I find the woodiness and the aquaticness of this fragrance very well balanced. On him, I couldn't really smell the peach or like the sweetness that I'm getting when I was wearing it compared to when he was wearing this fragrance. When it comes to longevity and projection, I must say this has an above average performance. Guys, when I wore this yesterday, we went to my friend's house. The reaction of my friend's husband was like, "Whoa, is that your perfume?" And since I wasn't sure what exactly he meant by his reaction, I told him, "Oh, I know this smells masculine, right?" And you know what? He told me like, "No, it actually smells very sweet and fruity." So basically we are smelling the same. And then when I sprayed it on my husband, guys, it smells completely different. If you're curious about Helix, they are doing like an introduction promo in their website right now. So you'll basically get a free 15 ml of Helix for every 115 euros purchase, or 115 euros is like around $125 from Carner's website. You can still use up my code on top of that, just in case you want to buy any other fragrances from Carner. So now we're gonna talk about the 4 newest release of Mr. Theodoros Kalotinis. These new perfumes are kindly sent to me in PR, so thank you so much, Theodoros. And yeah, so now let me just let you guys know what I think of them. So Theodoros Kalotinis released 4 new fragrances, and I have here like 3 full bottles and 1 sample size. Let's start off with cherry powder. Cherry powder is something that I was very excited to try because of the note cherry. I love cherry. And you know, knowing Theodoros, I was kind of like expecting it to be gourmand because, come on, he's known to be gourmand king, right? And this fragrance kind of like surprised me. The opening of this smells like very sharp cherry. So like imagine a cherry flavored gummy bear. That's how the opening smells like. It says in the note breakdown that it has milk and macaron. I don't really get milk, maybe a touch of macarons, but to me, this is basically just cherry and powder. And the kind of powder that is in here is quite interesting because the powder that is coming out from here starts like a baby powder. However, as it dries down, it kind of smells like a makeup-y powder. So imagine a cherry scented loose setting powder. That's how cherry powder smells like. The dry down of this is very different from the opening because the dry down smells very vintage-like. And what I mean by vintage-like is not something that smells old, okay? This, to me, smells like something from the Renaissance era. So what I mean is that this seems like a perfume that is used during that era. So yeah, that's what I meant by vintage. I like this fragrance because I really appreciate the vintage vibe that I'm getting out of it. I feel like there's more depth about it than the name cherry powder. If this is bottled, for example, in a Guerlain's bottle, this can easily pass like for 100 something euros scent. When it comes to longevity and projection, first 2 hours is very strong. You will definitely be smelled. However, I noticed that the strong projection doesn't really last for a long time because after that second hour mark, it just sits very close to the skin. So yeah, it lasts around 4 to 6 hours. It lasts longer on clothes than on skin. Yeah, that's what I meant. That is my thought about cherry powder. A very interesting vintage smelling cherry powder. Oh, and by the way, it's not a gourmand. Just in case you are thinking that this will be your gourmand, okay? Yeah, I like this one. All right, next up is Pear Gelato. And I am already expecting to get a gourmand scent out of this fragrance. And yes, it is very gourmand, especially, you know, the first 5 seconds of it reminds me so much of the fluffiness and the creaminess of lemon tart. And if you guys don't know yet, lemon tart is my favorite Theodoros Kalotinis fragrance. So the beginning of this, like let's say first 5 seconds, has that lemon tart vibe. So having said that, it smells like very fluffy, milky and whipped creamy, very gourmand. And then as it dries down, I slowly get some green apple note in here. I don't really get the pear straight away. What I get first is green apple smell. And then the waffle cone note enters. So now the final dry down smells like a pear gelato. I really like this fragrance, especially let's say the first 10 minutes because it smelled very gourmand. However, I noticed that on me, it disappears so quickly. The final dry down of this is mainly cone waffle and like a pear puree. And the pear puree is like very mild. So it's mainly cone waffle to me. Yeah, when it comes to pear gelato, I love the beginning of it. But I feel like it doesn't last on me. I really love the opening of this fragrance, but yeah, the final dry down is just a little bit undetectable on me, so this one is a like. All right, next up is Creme Brulee. And guys, I am very excited about this fragrance. Creme Brulee, I must say, is one of my favorite desserts, as here in Portugal, we have something that is called leite creme. And yeah, I just love that one. So when I saw that he was releasing Creme Brulee, I was very excited. And guys, by the way, this is an Extrait de Parfum. The first two Theodoros Kalotinis perfumes that I talked about are both Eau de Parfum. So having said that this is an Extrait de Parfum, it basically has more potent concentration. And you guys, this is so gourmand, so delicious. The note breakdown is very simple: coconut milk, whipped cream, burnt sugar, and vanilla. And yeah, basically that's how it smells like. This to me smells so fluffy and coconutty and milky. The burnt sugar note smells like caramel. My husband is loving this scent. He always tells me that I smell edible every time I wear this. So yeah, having said that, I love Creme Brulee. It is one of those sweet gourmands that I can tolerate, because if you know me, I am not really the biggest fan of heavy gourmands, but this is the kind of heavy gourmand that I love, because I think it's because of the coconut milk and the whipped cream combo in here that I am really loving. Yeah, and if you know me, you know how much I love coconut in fragrances. I think if you're looking for a gourmand fragrance that is heavy in coconut, I highly recommend you checking out Creme Brulee, because to me, this smells like a creme brulee using coconut milk cream instead of a normal heavy cream. Yeah, absolutely delicious and delectable. A must try, guys, especially if you are into gourmands. And when it comes to longevity and projection, guys, this is amazing. Let's say last 8+ hours on my skin and eternal on clothes. My pajama still smells like this. And as I was putting my makeup on today, I was thinking like, where is that fluffy and coconutty scent coming from? And then I figured out it's my pajama. The room smells absolutely delicious. Anyway, I highly recommend Creme Brulee by Theodoros Kalotinis. All right, and the last from Theodoros Kalotinis collection is Sexiest Fougere. And if you follow me in Instagram, you should know already what I think about this. By the way, are you following me in Instagram too? Because if you're not, then I suggest that you follow me there, because that's where I normally give my first impressions on fragrances, and basically that's where I give all the teas about new perfumes. Anyway, let's talk about Sexiest Fougere. Guys, at first, I really thought that this is a masculine leaning fragrance. Yeah, this smells like a sexy fougere, the sexiest fougere. And just in case you don't know how fougere smells like, it basically smells like the forest. So imagine like green and woody forest vibe. Yeah, anyway, Sexiest Fougere to me smells like an aromatic fougere in the beginning. I'm getting a lot of clary sage, lavender, and rosemary. It is kind of giving me Parfums de Marly's Layton vibe. However, it also has a prominent pineapple and tea on my skin, which I am really loving. And as it dries down, I don't know why, but I am getting some butteriness and creamy feel. I absolutely love it. And yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, I raved about this fragrance already. And yeah, I think that this is my favorite from his 4 new releases. I feel like this is perfect to use this summertime. I've used this perfume last Sunday and we were outside almost the whole afternoon as we spent our family day. And guys, I could smell this fragrance the entire time. I oversprayed my clothes as usual. So guys, it gave me like that beautiful scent bubble the entire day. I would still say that this is more masculine leaning. However, I will wear this fragrance. Because I really enjoy the butteriness and creaminess that is in the dry down of this fragrance. So if you are a woman and you're interested, better check out Sexiest Fougere, because you'll never know if you'll enjoy it as well. And anyway, in case you feel like it's too masculine for you, you can always pass it on your husband or boyfriend, because guys, this to me smells very classy yet relaxed. Like, this is something that I know that I mentioned that it's perfect during summertime, but I think that this would be great to use whole year round as well. I think that he nailed it on this one. If you love the idea of aromatic fougere with touch of pineapple and some buttery feel, I highly recommend you checking out Sexiest Fougere by Theodoros Kalotinis. And last but not the least is a fragrance that I got from Zara. I know that Zara has been releasing so many fragrances and I used to review them all. However, I just couldn't cope up. I just couldn't cope up because they were releasing like 4 or 6 fragrances every week. And to be honest, guys, I just don't feel like acquiring them all because most of them are just redundant to my collection. And you know, here in Europe, we can't really return fragrances once it's opened. So yeah, in short, I find it a little bit of a waste of money. So now what I do is visit Zara shop and basically take down notes and choose what I think is worth having in my collection. So in my last Zara visit, I tested like around 7 of their newest releases. 4 of them are in Extrait de Parfum concentration and 3 are just in Eau de Parfum. And so yeah, I basically just took down notes. Red Sweet Temptation, and to me, it just reminds me of Red Temptation Summer, which I own already. And I think it's redundant if you have Red Temptation Summer. You don't need that anymore. Red Floral Temptation. That to me smells like Golden Decade plus Red Temptation. So basically a Red Temptation that has a heavy orange blossom, if you know what I mean. So I feel like if you have Red Temptation and Golden Decade, then you don't need that one. So I didn't pick up that one. Next up, Golden Decade Floral. It smells like basically Golden Decade with more amped up jasmine. So not really that much of a big difference for me to buy it. Next is Golden Sweet Decade. Very nice, but it's very similar to Golden Decade Summer. And I feel like it's just redundant because they're very, very close. Next, Red Temptation Tobacco. This one is really good. It really reminds me of Zadig and Voltaire, This Is Her. And I already have that in my collection. And yeah, that one is very good. But you know, guys, I am just shocked how come it's called tobacco because I didn't find any tobacco in that fragrance. Next is Red Temptation Bloom. Nice as well. However, it reminds me so much of Hypnotic Vanilla Bloom. So again, I don't need that one. And the next 2 are my top 2 favorites. Red Temptation Vanilla. Oh, that one smells really good. It smells like very close to Supreme Vanilla, you know, the one in the black bottle, with some Red Temptation vibes in the background. That one is very good. So it is very sweet, very vanillic. It is mainly vanilla and cacao to me. Very nice and very beautiful. However, I didn't get it. And yeah, last but not the least is Red Temptation and Sandalwood. This is the one that I ended up purchasing. This to me smells very classy, sophisticated, almost like a niche perfume. This definitely reminds me of Gris Charnel. So if you are actually looking for a dupe of Gris Charnel that you can easily sample or that you can easily have access to, get Red Temptation and Sandalwood. This is not a one-to-one dupe though. This is like Gris Charnel with added sweet cherry syrup. Oh, it is absolutely beautiful. I feel like this will shine more in the colder days though. To me, this smells very sophisticated and classy. Like, it shocks me that this only costs around 20 something euros. Yeah, highly recommend you checking this one out. Actually, I feel like all of their Extrait de Parfum releases are great. But my favorite is definitely Red Temptation and Sandalwood. This to me smells like that cozy sandalwood, amber, and iris combo that I love. Really beautiful, guys. And I think it's the saffron note in here that makes this smells like a little bit leveled up Zara. Really beautiful, guys. I highly recommend, especially if you love iris and sandalwood in your fragrances. Oh, and when it comes to longevity and projection, guys, this on me lasts around 6 to 8 hours and with moderate projection. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know if you tried any of these fragrances, and I have a lot of new perfumes to review, so definitely watch out for it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and see you on my next one. Bye, guys.